Welcome to Biblio Bistro.
My name is Megan Jazak, and I'm a registered dietitian and community health educator with the Portage Health Foundation. And today I have with me Michael Sinitis, who is the program coordinator and chef extraordinaire with the Portage Lake District Library. For those of you that are new to Biblio Bistro, this is a cooking series in partnership with the foundation and the library that features simple recipes with seasonal and local produce that are budget friendly. Michael, what are we cooking today?
Today we're going to make minestrone soup.
Oh, yum.
Mm-hmm.
So for minestrone soup, there are a couple different items that you can find either at the farmer's market or if it's out of season, you can also find it seasonally in the grocery store.
Definitely.
So we've got some carrots and onions and garlic that you're going to chop up.
And
Perfect.
you want me to start?
Yeah, let's start.
Okay. All right. The easiest way to go at this onion is get the ends off. Don't get too crazy with the knife. Just crazy enough. And get that peel off. I sometimes find it's easier to take 2 layers off of the onion, but I think this is going to work out just fine for us.
Now, onions are like a cooler season crop, correct, Michael?
Well, you get them going in the spring.
Okay.
And I think they're out of the ground by June up here. So I'm going to make quick work of the onion here by just doing some cuts, one section, and then going the other way, and you'll save yourself a whole lot of work. They're already the size you want them. Okay?
Perfect.
And so we got onions for this recipe, and I think you want the carrots. Do you want this chopped?
Yeah, I think they have it just in small little, kind of like dice.
Yeah. So make this easy on yourself and just take it in a couple different smaller sizes, I guess I should say. And if you work with a flat surface, you'll prevent yourself from cutting your fingers off.
Okay.
And that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, we like our fingers to be intact.
Nice. And then I'm just going to do simple chops this way.
Now, carrots, when you are in season locally, when would you say you first start to see carrots at the farmer's market?
Up here, I think, towards the end of summer.
Okay. Would you say like end of July, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Somewhere like probably late July, early August.
Okay.
Yep. And garlic.
Yeah, there's 5 cloves of garlic in this recipe, so it is chock full of garlic.
Yum. So what I do when I'm doing my garlic is I'll take the handle of the knife, just give it a little smash like that, and then that peel will pop right off for you.
That is really convenient. That's always one of my biggest frustrations with garlic is the skin getting stuck on your hands.
I think it's why people avoid it.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to do a nice little mince on the garlic here. Now, Megan, saved us a little bit of time for this recipe and did some prep work for us. So now that you've got all your veggies ready, we can start, hey?
Yes. So I believe they start off the recipe with just sauteing or cooking the onions and the garlic in some oil.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And I don't have to measure the olive oil for this one.
No, it just says to drizzle.
Drizzle. Let's just say I'm putting like 2-3 tablespoons in there. Okay. That's what we'll go with. Ready?
Yep, we're ready.
Ooh, I had that warmed up nicely, hey?
Now, Michael, do you need anything to help stir it, or?
Yeah, sure. Okay. You know what? In the bowl right over there, there's a spoon on the. It's straight across from us. Sorry, I threw it on. You know what? Or you can just do this.
Perfect.
This will work too.
Nature's spoon. Just getting a little arm workout.
Just getting a little arm workout. Okay, we've got that stuff. We've got the onions, the garlic. We'll let that go for just a minute or two.
Yeah, I think this is a medium heat for about 5 minutes. So we'll let that get a little bit soft. And then the next thing we're going to add the celery and carrot.
Okay.
You've got some carrot chopped up here just to show. And again, we kind of did some steps ahead.
Sure.
You can add that in whenever you
I'm ready if you are.
Okay.
Yeah, you just want to get the onions and the garlic and everything going a little bit. I am going to run over there and grab a spoon while you're getting us ready for the next part.
Sounds good. I will measure out. I think they want the basil and oregano to be added at this time. Yes.
This will make it easier.
Perfect. Okay. We're going to be well behaved and we're going to measure. So
We are,
if
okay.
you would be so kind as to pass me the measuring spoon, I will get the spices going for you.
Got it.
So we are looking for 1 teaspoon of dried oregano.
Oh, right in there.
And for the basil, we're looking for 1 teaspoon too. That's easy.
It's already
That
smelling
smells
really good.
Nice. Okay. We've got those. And we'll let those get a little bit softer too. And what's nice about soups too is that the longer and the slower you cook it, the more flavor that you're going to get from it, right?
Right.
So, you know, if in doubt, just take it slow and just let it kind of simmer.
Yeah, I think this soup, the idea is the fresh taste that you want, but also this doesn't have to take a long time, but I do think it will improve the flavors if you can keep it on the stove for about 45 minutes.
Right.
Just at a low simmer.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. So once those are cooked down a little bit, you know, if you want to speed up to kind of get it a little bit softer more quickly, you can cover it if you're short for time. Do you want to cover it, or?
I say we keep going.
Okay. And then we're going to add the bell pepper, which I can grab for you.
Thank you. I'll
and
make room.
Zucchini. The bell pepper here.
So when I'm doing peppers, I like to use all of the pepper because I use red and yellow peppers a lot, and they're usually spendier. So
Right.
I take the top off, and then I pop the little stem out. And then you want to get everything, and then it's really easy to get the inside out like that.
Oh, yeah.
And you can just grab those membranes out like that, and that's that. Are we using the whole pepper, Megan?
We're using the whole pepper.
Okay, so now I'll start on the top.
And you know, if you do prefer a red or a yellow or orange bell pepper, that would work fine. Because we're trying to be a little bit more budget friendly, we chose the green pepper. That's usually the cheapest option, like you mentioned, Michael.
Yeah. And the color will be really nice. I'm not someone who loves green peppers. I only like them certain ways.
Yeah.
But I could see how this will be really pretty. And in something that's going to cook longer like this, I think that bitterness that we sometimes associate with green bell peppers, it will mellow a lot more in a soup than it would if you're just picking up a piece of it raw,
Right.
you know, and doing that.
Right.
Are they're probably really good for you, right?
Yeah, you know, one of the highest nutrients in terms of amount is vitamin C. So I think 1 bell pepper has over 100% of your vitamin C needs in a day.
Wow.
They are rich in vitamin C, which is good for skin health. It's also good for immune support as well.
Nice.
So that's a biggie. You know, and with the carrots that we're putting in there, that is a good source of vitamin A. That's also good for skin and immune health. The big thing with that you need to keep in mind is that vitamin A is what we would consider a fat-soluble vitamin, which means that you need a fat with it in order to fully absorb that vitamin. So right now we've got a little bit of oil that we cooked it in, so we've got some fat on board. You know, even adding a little bit of cheese at the end is actually probably going to help you actually better absorb the nutrients in the dish.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Perfect.
we are there.
All right, and then it wants us to add the zucchini. So we have a zucchini here. I don't know if people are familiar with chopping it. Michael can just show a quick.
I'm going to do the same thing I do with
Snapshot.
everything. Just take the 2 ends off, and I'm going to cut it in half because it's round vegetable. Just make it easier on yourself. Nobody needs a trip to the ER over a pot of soup, right?
I agree.
So I just did a simple cut there, go ones down the middle, and then just do them right like that. You prepped us with a little bit thicker, but that's okay because they'll hold up longer in the soup that way. You could do them bigger for sure.
Okay. So we'll add those guys in. And then it looks like we're going to add water and the tomato puree. So I'm going to hand you the tomato puree.
Okay.
We're just going to do half of this can.
Yeah. Now we didn't have a smaller can of tomato puree, so this is a big one, so we're just gonna use half, but this is working out really good. And you've got the water.
I do.
And you could probably throw that right in there, Megan. That looks good on the tomato side.
I think so, yeah. So we're looking for 3 cups of water, and what's nice about this container that we had prepped the celery and carrots in is it happens to be a 3-cup measure. So it worked out really well.
Okay, be my guest.
And Michael, you could try something else like a broth, right? If you wanted.
I think I would be tempted to use a vegetable broth.
Okay.
I think you'd probably get, if you have it. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But
Right.
if you have it, it could make it a little more flavorful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. And let's see, what else do we need here?
That looks good.
I think that's it. So it says to cover and let that simmer for about 15 minutes. And then at the very end, we'll add beans and quinoa to round it out.
Oh, sounds great. And again, if you have the time, there'd be nothing wrong with letting this simmer for a bit longer than 15 minutes. If you need to do it in 15, go for it. But if you have more time, keep the heat on low and keep it simmering for a little while.
Perfect.
It'll be tastier for sure.
Yes. And this is a nice kind of like hearty soup too. So whether it's just a cold day, or you're just craving a veggie-packed soup, this is a perfect option. And it's kind of nice and light too. It's robust and light at the same time with the tomato.
And you could go with a lot of different things.
It's very versatile. And really, I kind of think of this as like a everything in the kitchen sink soup. Like whatever vegetables you have on hand are probably going to work.
That's a very good point. We followed a recipe and we used what we used, and you could totally work with what you've got. If you were at the farmer's market and they had a little bit of this and a little bit of that and it looked a little different, you could definitely have fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I think some fresh basil would be really good in this too at the end.
Oh yeah, or even throwing in some chopped broccoli if you really want to switch it up. Or yeah, I think it's pretty much, you can't go wrong with whatever vegetables you pick. I feel confident in saying that.
Okay, so we'll let this simmer for a while and then we'll come back and add the beans.
Sounds good. All right, well, I think it's been simmering for about 10 or 15 minutes, so we can take the lid off and check where we're at. Now, we did add the quinoa a little bit early. The original recipe, which comes from the Moosewood cookbook, called for pasta, but we swapped out the pasta. There's nothing wrong with that. You could use pasta, no problem. We chose quinoa because it has a little bit more protein, and it also has a little extra fiber, and so we just want to swap it out. It's also gluten-free for those that have any sort of intolerance or are allergic to gluten as well.
Did you mention how good the quinoa is for us? Is that what you just talked about?
Yeah, so it's protein-packed. It's actually one of the few grains that is what we would call a complete protein. So that means that it has all 9 essential amino acids, just like meat would, whereas most of the grains have some of those 9 amino acids, but not all of them.
Nice.
So, yeah, between that and the chickpeas that we're about to add, we're going to get a nice extra dose of protein in this soup.
Do the honors. And Megan did already drain and rinse the beans for us. And I would advise doing that. I think that's just a good thing to do. I think you'll be happier with the end product.
Yeah, and especially, too, from a salt standpoint, you can rinse some of that extra salt that's in the canned.
Right. Megan, this looks beautiful.
Yum. So it's veggie packed. And we've got some zucchini in there. Michael, when would you usually find zucchini available at the farmer's market?
The great thing about zucchini is they're here early, usually by mid-June.
Okay.
And then they ride the whole season, like almost too much. Like everybody has the story about having like way too many zucchinis. I'm guilty of it. I always think like, I'll plant one more plant because what if? And the chickens get a lot of zucchinis at my house. That's what happens.
So this is a nice way to use up your zucchini if you're sick of zucchini bread.
Yes, exactly. I think we're good to go.
Perfect. I'll get the bowls, and then we do have some Parmesan cheese. That's optional, so if you do want to add it, that would make the dish vegetarian. Right now it's vegan as it stands. Again, if you used veggie broth, or if you are not vegetarian or vegan, you could do chicken broth too. And then we've got some fresh parsley that we rinsed here, just as a nice little garnish. So I'll throw some of that on there for you, Michael.
Nice. And then I'm going to show everybody the fancy kitchen tool that I highly suggest investing in, which is the plane for the cheese. You can do it with a box grater, like we were doing with the carrots, but I do think that this is a really nice tool to have for cheese because you don't take your knuckles off, and it just does a really nice job. And you can use it for all different things. Chocolate, all the good things. Chocolate, cheese. What else?
I'll actually use it too for garlic, like if I don't want to chop it
Sure.
And actually, I will not
Oh.
have too much cheese. That's okay.
You're not going to have any.
Cheese and I don't play well, so I will leave that out.
Okay.
But I think that'll add just like a nice little, it'll really kind of wrap it all up nicely.
Mhm.
So if you can tolerate it, I think it would be just the perfect final touch.
I think so too.
Okay, shall we try it?
Let's do it. Okay. This looks so good. Megan, that's delicious. It tastes like summer in a bowl. Isn't it?
Yeah. That's delicious.
Yum. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Biblio Bistro.
If you'd like to tune in and see our other episodes, as well as get the shopping list and the full recipe, you can go to pldl.org/biblio-bistro. And for any additional information you're looking for on the recipe, whether that's the price per serving, and information about local farmers market, you can click the show notes, which is on the YouTube page as well, which is on that PLDL website.
And if you want to share any pictures of when you're using the recipes, you can just use the hashtag Biblio Bistro on any social media that you use.
Until next time,
Bon appetit!